I'm going to go pedestrian mobile 10 meters FT8. I'm using an FT8 half wavelength vertical antenna and an Android mobile phone with the FT8CN app. Having a look on the screen, quite a few stations on, unlike 6 meters, which I tried before. So with any luck, we'll get some contacts. Looks like we might have something. So far, 3 contacts. Japan, China on 28 meg, and Indonesia on 21 meg. 21 megahertz, success with the US. Been walking for nearly 3 hours and it's steady going, sometimes a long time between contacts, but right now the band's picking up. I'm on 15 meters and had a whole heap of stations calling me. And also interesting noting the propagation moving westward. Before it was only Eastern Europe and Russia, now we're getting Germany. Now here's a precautionary safety thing. You can see there's a dodgy connection there where I joined 2 shorter bits of wire. Even at 5 watts, that can cause a bit of an RF burn when you touch it while transmitting. Because bearing in mind this is a high impedance antenna, so yeah, always use a continuous length of wire as an antenna and avoid contact. Not touching this at all, and the contacts are coming in thick and fast. Just finished with another Russian there. Just stepping out, going a bit inland to see if I have similar success. It's probably going to be a lot less. Here on the grass I did have 1 contact with Italy, but overall the rate of contacts has slowed a lot. So I'll get back in the water just to prove it's not conditions, and we'll see if it picks up. Didn't take long, but got contact to F4 FWT. Now there's a whole stack of stations calling, and I was about to head back home. How many contacts? I'll just have a quick scroll through. The first was JH6TSK, and then all these, mostly Europeans, especially later on. Here's the final list of contacts, all up 27, of which 26 for DX. As to bands, 15 meters was by far the best, with 22 contacts, 4 on 10 and 1 on 12. And as for the time of day, well, most of them came towards the end, around 3, 4 or so PM local. So definitely that's the time here in Australia at this time of year where 15 meters takes off to Europe under these currently good conditions. There were contacts earlier on, but much slower going. With FT8, don't be surprised that your signal is decoded in a lot more places than the contacts you get. Starting at 28 MHz, my signal was decoded in much of East Asia and North America. Even a couple of reports in Eastern Europe. 24 MHz was similar, but fewer stations, concentrated in East Asia, China, Japan, and also the United States. 21 MHz was the most successful band, partly because I was transmitting longer, including later in the afternoon when the band really picked up towards Europe. A lot of concentration of signal reports in Europe. Also the United States, much less in China and Japan. 18 MHz was only on for a short time, but notable was that the Pacific was crossed to one station. This exercise shows that when you're pedestrian mobile, it helps if you have access to a lot of bands, even if you've just got one antenna of a fixed length. Having an antenna that's resonant on one band is much less important than it to be reasonably efficient on multiple bands, in conjunction with a suitable antenna coupling unit. It's a bit of an old wives' tale with resonant antennas, and one that too many amateurs still believe. You can get great results with a non-resonant antenna, provided impedance matching is okay. If you want to get the most from low-power amateur radio, check out my book Minimum QRP. It gives you ideas on equipment, antennas, operating and strategy so you can get the most from low-power amateur radio. Find out more on my website VK3YE.com or search the title on Amazon.